Two PLA Navy warships in town for a 5-day visit. The observatory forecasts a low temperature of 14 degrees Celsius next Thursday. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. A PLA Navy flotilla comprising a guided missile destroyer and an amphibious assault ship arrived in Hong Kong this morning for a 5-day visit. The visit also comes with a series of public events. At about 7 a.m., the two Chinese warships sailed into Victoria Harbour amid the morning mist, welcomed by a water salute by local fireboats. A neat formation of sailors aboard the Hainan amphibious assault ship, waving to the people on shore. Some local residents took pictures amid the drizzle. At around 10 a.m., the vessel docked at the China Merchants Wharf in Sherwan. The Ministry of Defense said the visit aims to showcase the capability and determination of the People's Liberation Army to safeguard national sovereignty and security. It's also hoped that the visit will enhance Hong Kong and Macau residents' understanding of the country's achievements in national defense and military modernization. The two ships will stay in Hong Kong for 5 days. There will be a series of activities including deck receptions, ship tours, and cultural exchange activities for invited guests. Organizers say they are expecting more than 10,000 participants. The Hainan 31 is the first Type 0.75 amphibious assault ship independently developed by China. The biggest warship of its kind in a PLA Navy is the first visit to Hong Kong by this type of PLA vessel. 6 helicopters can take off from its flight deck at the same time. Its internal dock can carry tanks and armored vehicles. It was commissioned into the PLA Navy in 2021. It also marks the first time the Hainan is open to the public. Also visiting Hong Kong is the Changsha. Docked at the PLA Ngangxun Chao Naval Base, the ship is a Type 052D guided missile destroyer made in China. It is mainly responsible for regional air defense missions of aircraft carrier formations and destroyer formations. It is known as the sword-carrying escort of aircraft carriers. It took part in the escort mission in Somali waters in the Gulf of Aden. The Changsha was featured in a promotion film aired on the military channel of the state media, showing its encounter with 3 foreign warships in the Shisha waters. Chief Executive John Lee boarded the Hainan and the Changsha today. Lee said the vessel's visit to Hong Kong shows the country's care and support for the SAR. He believes they can help boost Hong Kong people's sense of national identity and national pride, especially among the younger generation. For the second consecutive day, Next Digital founder Jimmy Lai took the stand to defend himself in his national security trial. Lai said his exchanges of texts and messages with the management of the now-defunct newspaper Apple Daily were not editorial instructions. But the judges said the paper's management appeared to have been receptive to his recommendations. Day 94 of Jimmy Lai's trial at West Kowloon Court. The defense side said before the implementation of the national security law, Jimmy Lai had asked the CEO and executive director of Next Digital, Chen Kim-hung, to remind employees not to target then U.S. President Donald Trump. Lai explained Hong Kong needed to seek Trump's help to block the implementation of the national security law, so Apple Daily should not be anti-Trump. On the July 1st storming of the Legislative Council, Lai sent a message to then associate publisher of the paper, Chan Pui-man. Lai said there could be more reports of the thoughts of young people, which Lai said was not an instruction but a discussion. Judge Esther To asked if he wanted to convey the reasons why some young people stormed the Legislative Council. Lai denied that. He said he wanted to help the public understand and sympathize with the young people so that the anti-extradition protests could carry on. As to how Lai mentioned some choice of words for headlines and the use of certain UK scholars, Lai said they were not editorial directions but just suggestions, and the ultimate decisions were from the management. Judge Li Wen-tang said it seemed that Chan Pui-man accepted a lot of suggestions. In July 2020, Lai sent a message to Chan Pui-man with an attachment related to Trump's executive order while stating that they should make a sanctions list. Lai said he didn't read the text in detail before forwarding the document. He also doesn't remember the source of the file, but he believed that it might be a classified document from the White House. The judge then questioned how Lai did not even have the interest to read such an important document. Lai said if he had spent the time reading, he wouldn't have had time to do other things, but he did skim through the first few lines of the document. He said he did not instruct Chan or Li to formulate a sanctions list. Regarding the columnists for Apple Daily, Lai admitted he had recommended Ao Kalun to chief editorial writer Yuan Qingqi, saying that he found Ao's work well written. Lai denied that the columns were intended to make the public hate Beijing or the Hong Kong SAR. The observatory has lowered its temperature forecast for next Thursday to a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius. Most areas in the city recorded temperatures as low as 16 to 17 degrees today, with the mercury dropping to just 10.9 degrees at Tai Mo Shan. The observatory forecasts the temperature will rise during the day over the next 2 to 3 days, before dropping again in the middle of next week due to the effects of the northeast monsoon. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has chosen former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker to serve as U.S. ambassador to NATO. Trump has long been a NATO skeptic, but said Whitaker will ensure U.S. interests are advanced and defended, and he will strengthen relationships with allies. The choice of Whitaker is an unusual one, given his background is in law enforcement and not in foreign policy. Whitaker had been considered a potential pick for Attorney General, a position Trump instead gave to Matt Gaetz. The NATO post is a particularly sensitive one given Trump's regard for the alliance's value and his complaints that numerous members are not meeting their commitments to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense. Whitaker is a former U.S. attorney in Iowa. He served as acting attorney general between November 2018 and February 2019 as special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election interference was drawing to a close. Still ahead, locally, the Greater Bay Area International Clinical Trial Institute opens. And a new MTR app to assist disabled passengers. The Greater Bay Area International Clinical Trial Institute, established and wholly owned by the government, opened today. The opening ceremony was officiated by Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration Chek Wing-hing, Secretary for Health Lo Chung-mao, and Shenzhen municipal officials. The 7,000-square-foot facility located in the Hotel Shenzhen Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone will house a biobank jointly managed by the Hospital Authority and the Chinese University of Hong Kong. It will provide 11 freezers capable of storing the samples of 10,000 patients and more than 40,000 biological samples such as tissue and blood. China's biggest electric vehicle manufacturer, BYD, is setting sights on introducing to Hong Kong a Sky Shuttle system and more of its commercial EV fleets to promote the city's green commutes. BYD says it will continue its research and development efforts and will not be affected by trade policies of the European Union and the United States. Is this the future of urban mobility? Sky Shuttle is a battery-powered unmanned rail transit system developed by Shenzhen-based new energy vehicle maker BYD. After being trialed in Shenzhen, the driverless and fully autonomous network might be on track to run in Hong Kong. The auto company has been in talks with the SAR government earlier, with considerations to launch test sites in Kai Tak and Kowloon East. BYD said there is no timetable now for the implementation. Liu Xueliang, general manager of BYD's Asia-Pacific Automobile Sales Division, said they can see the market demand, but more details have to be ironed out, including land rights and which districts Sky Shuttle can serve. Currently, various types of public transport in Hong Kong, including buses and taxis, already consist of BYD's electric vehicles. BYD said it hopes it can provide diversified products for various industries of Hong Kong to promote green mobility. The European Union announced at the end of October that it would impose countervailing tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump also said he plans to significantly raise tariffs on foreign goods. BYD said the biggest victims of tariffs are often the local consumers. They say BYD is only committed to providing the best technology and products to consumers, adding that BYD has been actively complementing EU investigations. The auto company said the tariffs that the EU imposed on them is 17%, so they are among the brands being levied the least. Yet to make a foray into the U.S. market, BYD said it will continue its R&D work to serve and tap consumer needs across different regions. The MTR received a total of 33 bid proposals for the tendering of the Tung Chung East Station Package 1 property development project after it saw a failed tender 1 year ago. The first phase of the development includes building about 320,000 square feet of residential property, providing some 600 units. On the railway side, the MTR said progress has been made in the installation of platform gates at East Rail Line stations, while an upgraded mobile app will help disabled passengers. Timothy Lee tells us more.
In a bid to ensure the safety of its passengers, the MTR earlier initiated a plan to install gates on the platforms of 13 East Rail Line stations. The company said the screen doors at 10 stations will be operational by the end of this year, while installation work at the stations with curved platforms, comprising Lo Wu, Mongkok East, and University, will be completed by next year. Meanwhile, the MTR will launch its upgraded MTR Care mobile app on the 2nd of December, with new functions to assist disabled passengers.
With the apps, we have two new functions. The first one is for the wheelchair persons, they can use the app to pre-book the service so that our staff, they know when they will come and they can get prepared. And the second one is for the deaf persons. For the deaf person, they are very difficult to call assistance through verbal conversations. That's why we allow them to use the app to use text and use pictures to let us know where they are.
The MTR added the app's in-station navigation function, currently covering the Exhibition Center station. The Chunwan Line and Kwun Line will be extended to the Island Line before the end of this year. Using the updated mobile app, passengers can register for the portable wheelchair ramp service between 30 to 90 minutes before their travels. This, as the MTR reminded passengers that any failure to use the services will be recorded. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The 8th Gerontech and Innovation Expo Come Summit opened at the Convention and Exhibition Center in Wan Chai today. The 40th annual event boasts a new themed pavilion for children with disabilities to promote inclusion among people of all ages. This year's expo features more than 220 exhibitors, showcasing over 900 germ technology products from all over the world. Many integrated artificial intelligence technology. They include AI nurses that assist in diagnosis. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Secretary for Labor and Welfare Chris Sun said the government has injected an extra $1 billion into the Innovation and Technology Fund for application in elderly and rehabilitation care. He hopes social welfare organizations can put the financial aid to good use in support of the city's elderly care services. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.